Hello. Hello. Hi, Victor. Can you
Hi,
hear me?
Shunyan.
All
Hi,
right. Hi.
Herman.
Good morning.
Hello,
Yes,
Junyan.
Professor
Hi.
Herman.
Hi, Herman and Victor. Good morning.
Its camera is off. Sorry, I'm
All
using my
right.
desktop, so my camera is a bit
Okay. Okay. It's
offline.
fine. It's fine. All right. So maybe Victory, you come online first. Maybe you can share a bit of the wins games over the past weekend.
Okay. Um, so I think the most win was I made progress with some of the writing.
Okay. Okay. Nice.
I did
Nice.
some writing. I tried to do a sprint, but geez, the
Okay.
weather was just terrible.
Okay.
But I was able to make some progress, which is I think important. I was
Okay.
also able to um, do some photography. It's
Oh,
sort
nice.
of one of those things I like doing, but
Okay.
it's not really my fire passion. It's just one of those things that it's nice. So
Okay,
over the
brings
weekend, I was
joys,
able
right?
to,
Brings
yeah,
you joy.
yeah.
Okay, nice,
So
nice.
it did bring some relaxing, made me relax a
Mhm.
little bit, just taking pictures and seeing people smiling and all that.
Oh, nice. Okay, wow.
Was quite nice on Saturday. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, so able to rest as well.
Oh,
So
okay. Great. All right. So, Herman, any wins over the weekend you'd like to share?
Um, it was a restful weekend, so that was good.
Okay. Okay. So,
Yeah,
got a good rest over the weekend.
a bit, yeah. Yeah. So that was good, yeah. Good.
Okay.
It
Okay.
was
Nice. Nice. Okay.
someone else. Oh, is
All
it
right.
Josh joining?
Yes. Okay.
Oh, okay, cool.
Hi, Josh. Can you hear us?
Yeah,
Okay, all right, great. So Josh, we were just sharing what are some quick wins over the weekend. So maybe you'd like to share one, anything that was kind of make you happy and or something you consider a gain over the weekend.
uh, I just do some work in weekends.
Okay, okay, you did some work, but I mean, what was it made you happy, or was it something you learned something new?
Just a little bit tired.
Okay. All right. So did work over the weekend. Okay,
Yeah.
felt tired. So probably realizing you need some rest, right?
Yes.
And recovery. Okay, okay. Good, good. I think that's that. I mean, if there's a learning from something, that's also good. I mean, always make your learning greater than your experience. That's something from Dan Sullivan. Okay. All right, thanks. Thanks for sharing. So for me, the weekend, I finished a good book, and I started another good book. It's called Trailblazer. Okay, by actually the founder and CEO of Salesforce, uh, Mark Benioff. Okay, and basically, he talked about, I mean, he did something really admirable when he started Salesforce. I mean, although it's already a listed company, but 20 years ago when they started, they decided to donate 1% of their profit and 1% of employee time and 1% of their product to whatever good causes, social cause that they want to support. So that was pretty admirable. And he talked about values create value. Okay, so I think I got a lot of inspiration from Mark, and it's really amazing that there's someone from Silicon Valley who actually places values, in front of profit, but ultimately was making a lot of profit as well. Okay, all right. So maybe Victor, you can take over from here. Okay, and okay, so can maybe start with our scene. All right.
All right.
Okay, yeah,
Thanks,
thanks.
Shunyan.
Thanks.
I'm just gonna switch off my camera for bandwidth.
Okay.
All right, so I'm just gonna share my screen one. Yes. All right. Let me start with the sync. So I was able to meet up with a leader yesterday evening online.
Oh,
Let's meet up
nice.
like on Teams. So we did discuss in terms of the code itself and basically the what needs to be done. We sort of have an idea from a development perspective. But I think there's a bit of confusion on our part in terms of the research output side, and I think that's more or less a conversation. So what she suggested was me and her and Professor Herman sort of have a session maybe on Thursday,
Okay.
from a research output part, because she is more or less, I think, unclear as to the what to type. For example, like if she was to write a thesis, what would be in the thesis, or what would be the
Oh,
problem
okay.
statement and all that, all those questions. And basically she's trying to sort of understand how that fits in, for example, into what we are doing. And
Okay. Okay.
she has an idea, don't get me wrong, in terms, for example, we sort of all agree that there's the vast library, and it's sort of like a foundation on top which we're building all these other blocks, such as the Uber, spatial Uber or spatial WhatsApp. But I think she's still a bit unclear with regards to the details from a research side of things. She understands the development side, but in terms of
Okay.
research
Okay.
output, and again, I'm not sure if, but she did say she had the session with Professor Herman today, and then she said she had brought it up in the past, but then she's saying maybe we can have like a session or so on Thursday. I don't know if Professor Herman is available on Thursday evening.
I'll have to check.
Okay.
Otherwise I'll have to do it on Friday.
All right, that's fine. But she said she's gonna get in touch with you today as well.
Cool.
Then, yeah. She has not uploaded the code yet, but she said she's gonna upload something, and she doesn't upload the basic stuff. But she has been working on the PubSub part. I think she was able to get the channel based right from a testing perspective, and she's trying to extend that to the spatial, just from a testing perspective now, nothing major or anything like that.
Okay.
But she's working on that, and she said she was gonna upload it, what she has, and maybe she'll just share a link with the basic stuff. So that's that on a leader. So with Josh, and I don't know, maybe Josh can step in here. I don't know if you were able to. I know that you did say something like, you've not made any progress, but I don't know if you're struggling with anything that we can perhaps help you with.
Okay. But I think I can do this project tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay. But so I'm guessing like you've not gotten started with the basic JavaScript library.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
No, I'm saying that you've not been able to like get started with the library itself.
Well,
Yes.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to be sure that you aren't stuck.
I think Josh needed time to get started.
Yes.
No,
right?
that's fine. That's fine. No,
Okay.
I just wanted to be sure that it's not like you started with the library and then you got stuck or something like that. But like I said yesterday as well, just if you feel stuck or anything, feel free to just reach out, whether to me or to, I think Shinya will be able to help as well. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. That's that. And I don't know if Shunyun was able to recruit any new clients.
Okay. All right. So basically, there's the idea that I think I will be sharing this with someone I met at Ben Hardy's AMP program. Okay. And because this may not be, I'm not sure, immediate, but
Okay.
this person does want to build a virtual world.
Oh,
That's
nice.
like his, but this is kind of like his future self project. He's already a quite successful CEO, and even with his own, private foundation for social projects. But he'd like to build this virtual world for learning, for learning different skills and the betterment of yourself. so I don't know how that will link, but I'm going to expect him to have a discussion with them sometime this week.
Okay.
So that's
Sounds
good. And the other thing is, I think I'll be reaching out for David as well. Okay, David used to talk with us about maybe I think I'll have a sync with him about what he's been recently
okay.
doing. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. All right. Thanks, Ian. So I don't know if Professor Herman was able to get to walk around with the MQTT implementation on Friday.
I did get a bit to do a bit of it. So I've got like a semi, I've done some part with integrating it, but I haven't finished the integration. So it's not working yet, but I think I have I think what I'm doing at the moment is going to crack the problem. So yeah, sorry.
Nice levels. No, I sometimes I think I said this the last time as well. Sometimes I forget there's levels to these things. There's like professors writing code and students writing code, and it's always the difference is always very clear. So,
yeah, I think it's partly, it's creating a nice way of, what do you call it? So at the moment, the way the code's written is that there's not a clear way to easily integrate it into other services. And that's basically the problem at the moment. So where you could basically just call something and say, okay, give me a list of everyone that's subscribed to this area. So it's partly about, kind of thinking how to integrate what the student has wrote in such, or wrapping it in such a way that other services can use it as well. But anyway.
Okay, that's fine. Makes sense. Thank you, sir. All right. I'm gonna go straight. Okay, let me just so with Ragav, we did say we're gonna sync on Sunday, but I sort of sent him the time a bit late, so I don't think he has received that yet. But I'll try to schedule something with him this week as well, just to follow up. But I have sent him the link to the MQTT library, as well as the code that we have for the spatial WhatsApp. And then the idea is, I basically explained what the goal was with using these libraries, as to making sure that we sort of create this chat app around that MQTT implementation, and then we can sort of integrate. And then the whole idea behind our session is we can discuss in more detail about maybe the minor details that I might have skipped in the message. But he'll probably be online again today, or maybe I'll just send him an email. Maybe an email was actually a better idea. But I'll do that, and yeah, I'll follow up with Ragav on that. With regards to the proposal, so okay, I'm just gonna. So there's a lot of stuff done, but it's a bit of a random, like additions here and there. It's almost like I sort of get distracted by I don't know if you can see this, or if I should zoom in. But anyways, for the problem part, I've not defined that part yet, because I think I'm beginning to notice that as I sort of read a bit more into the IoT part, and I'm going to go back there now. As I read a bit about the MQTTs and the limitations of publish, subscribe, I'm actually realizing there are some problems we might actually be able to solve with ours, or at least potential problems that we could potentially reference, but the problem has not been properly defined yet. I have sort of tried to clean the planning up a little bit more. I've added more references as well, as we discussed. Also, I think I added this part where we talked about the concept paper and the journal article writer, but I will share a link because this is a different like I call it a different version. I think once I save this to Drive, I'll just start editing from Drive so that I don't lose my comments and all that. But I've added a few more information. I talked about the traditional PubSub, some literature review with traditional PubSub, what what they can do, for example. Oh, just that's 2 brackets, sorry. What they can do, reference maybe 2 or 3 papers here, I think. And then I gave an example of a decentralized publish subscribe paper. And in this case, they were able to develop something fast, robust, and highly scalable. And they basically used 10,000 nodes with 10,000 topics and 5,000 topics per node to show that, it basically worked. But then again, the challenge with that was it was channel based. And here I highlighted this because this is basically what I'm trying to do here is trying to write a statement that links from here, from this traditional to the spatial. But it's still a work in progress. I'll probably dream about the best way to write that. But I just left that there as highlighted so that it sort of stays in my head. And then I sort of went into the spatial publish subscribe, made references to Shanyun's papers as to how it works and what it does and how it's an extension to the channel-based PubSub design, where instead of channel now the matching property becomes area, and basically a case scenario where you have nodes, you have a matcher, and then you have subscribe and publish regions. Then we sort of go a bit into detail. Then I talked about how some work has been done. However, I'm not sure, and just maybe this is a question for everyone. How much detail should I go into as to the sort of work that has been done, right? For example, should I describe with the Minecraft example, should I describe how it's been done? What they were able to do, how, it was able to scale and all that, and then go into how, this can be extended to a more generalized solution. Or in this case, I just sort of the lazy way out. I'm not really sure if it works though, but where it just talks about how it's been done in spatial publish subscribe applications. And then I just reference the papers where, there's some reference to some virtual world spatial publish subscribe, which is more or less a lot of papers on the vast website. That's more or less
Okay,
it.
I guess a quick feedback is the background serves a purpose usually for
Okay.
people to understand, so that they will be able to understand about your work, both the background, the context, and the significance.
Okay.
Okay, so what
So it
this means
means-
is that consider someone who's like completely like unfamiliar with the field. And
Okay.
this person just picks up your paper and she starts to read. Okay. And
Okay.
basically, like what information background does she need to learn
Okay.
in order to actually understand your paper? Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, so that's, on the rough level, that's the kind of detail you might need to provide so that your work can be understood and appreciated.
Okay.
Okay, but beyond that, probably it's not necessarily, it's details not necessarily you have to include.
Okay. So it sounds like there should be some context as to, okay, for example,
Exactly, like
graph
why are you
match.
citing this work and what's the
Okay.
ideas in that cited paper that might be relevant? Okay, either in terms of understanding the background, the problem, or the significance of the work you are about to present.
Nice.
Okay, do you see this question?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically ask this question when you are, writing your related work or background.
Okay. Can I just put something here?
Okay,
Yes.
do you think this helps to clarify? Like
Yes, it
what you need
does.
to
It
put
does.
and to what
Yes.
details degree? Okay, all right, good.
Yes. I think I think I'll probably show a diagram as well there to show like a Minecraft world, but then with publish areas
Mhm.
and subscribe areas.
Yeah,
And-
maybe this is to give people an idea that
An
this
idea,
can be
yeah.
actually applied this way, right?
Yeah.
And in the virtual world game context.
Okay. All right. That's fine. So, okay, then there's a lot more information that should come here. So the idea is once I talk about that, about how it's been able to solve for scale in this approach or that approach, then we believe it can be extended to more generalized solution, maybe where actually that arbitrary data is being used. And then I sort of gave you a practical example where it would be a smart farm. You have a smart farm where you have cows with IoT nodes or sensor nodes. And then the idea is, as they move, you want to get position updates, which is, let me just add position. Sorry. Okay, highlight. That's a better way to put it. So you want to get positional updates, and if a cow moves to a certain area, you want to get updates from that area, and you want that cow to publish its position to a certain broker or some sort of which we call matcher to perform the management of the subscribe and publish requests. And I'm thinking I should add an illustration here to just show cows on the field and subscribe areas and publish areas. And now the key component of this research is the vast library. And I sort of added this actually this morning while I was reading through this report again. It sort of came up that the idea is to sort of break down what exactly the vast library does. And in this case, we have said there's a network layer, right? The vast network where you basically have these nodes connected, and then you have the partitioning part, which is the Voronoi overlay, and then you have the load balancing and forwarding. Basically, I think that's the forwarding specifically, where it sort of manages, how the messages are being forwarded. And the idea is to actually talk about these three components, like individually, and to sort of suggest that, okay, there's this that does this is what the VON does, and this is how it works, where it takes, some sort of Voronoi partitioning, and it sort of performs updates for its neighbors, and basically how it works, the general idea behind how it works. And then we go deeper into the centralized and decentralized, and this is still, again, I'm still not sure how this sort of comes in yet, so I've just left it there for now. I'm hoping to get some inspiration. And then basically we have the approach. I think there's something missing here, which are the forwarding part. It's not really, I've not updated it yet with the latest, and this is more or less a copy, edit, and paste so far. But this is something I just started as well, just to start looking at and start basically discussing how we plan to approach the solution. I don't know if I should call it our approach or our proposed solution or our design. I don't know, but that's just placeholder for now. And what the idea is, we're talking about basically our spatial POSUP structure, how we plan to use our matches, or how the matches should work, and then how the forwarding should happen. And that's where the breakdown sort of comes in. So we sort of talk a little bit about the decentralizing part, and I think decentralizing and match, I think I should add and forwarding there. Forward is already here. Anyways, but yeah, to sort of just discuss how the decentralization works and how it partitions, and then how we forward, and to go a bit into detail with the particle design, which is in a different document, how the matcher forwarding should happen. That would probably be in a flowchart format as well. And yeah, key considerations. Again, for me, I don't know if I still don't know where to put this, but the idea behind key considerations is stuff like, for example, what's the security consideration? Do we consider security? And that leads me to, I did find a paper that sort of talked about the challenges of MQTT. I think one of the things they talked about was security. That security is there, but the moment you add that security layer, for example, it
Complicates a lot of things.
it
right?
complicates, yeah, the performance itself. Yes, the performance of
I
the
think it's
match.
probably called other considerations. Okay, because if it's key considerations, probably you should already discuss that before this section.
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
this is kind of like the other considerations, right?
Okay. Yeah, the security and there's the other part, which is like there's a guarantee that the message will be sent, but there's no real way to know if the message was delivered, which apparently is a
No.
thing in MD.
No, MQTT it's got 3 quality of service modes. The one is just it gets sent, and the other one it guarantees at least once delivery, and the other one is it guarantees at most once delivery. And MQTT does have message acknowledgements. So MQTT has that quality of service and guaranteed delivery built into the protocol.
Yeah, I think I saw something like that. There's like the QoS 1, QoS 2.
Yes, yeah.
Something like, yeah, okay. Sorry, we're running out of time again. Sorry about that. But yeah, this is more or less it's still a work in progress, but I think I just need to clean this part up and clean this part up, and then maybe update this on Google Drive and then share a link maybe for review again,
okay.
and then go back to the difficult part, which is the problem definition.
Right. Okay.
For some
So
reason.
any feedback from Herman so far?
I mean, I'm glad to see you're making progress. That's good. I'm not. It looks like you're talking about the other approaches there as well, like MQTT and what their advantages and disadvantages are. I mean, or you mentioned you were reading up about it, so that's good. I think that's also important to have that in there. Yeah, I mean, it's coming together, so that's good. I think the important part is just to make certain that it has a coherent story in it, so that it's clear what I think
Okay.
defining the problem statement clearly is going to be important to get that sorted out.
Okay, all right. So my feedback follows Herman's about the problem. What's the problem? The research question also relates to your discussion with Alida. I was thinking that there's actually different questions we could be asking. Like, for example, one is how can we extend channel-based PubSub to support spatial operations or for spatial data, right?
Yeah.
I mean that is actually kind of the research question, the central research question behind our work, right? Because we know that channel-based exists and it's very popular, it's very mature.
Yes.
Right? But what happens when you want to support spatial data types, right? And it's kind of awkward, right? Because you basically have to do all kinds of different partitioning and do mappings between channel and the regions. And then, there have been different works that has been done in the past. But seems like there's nothing that fits all. There's no a one side, like solution fits all. So we we're asking a question. The research question is, how can we utilize the PubSub concept into spatial data, spatial domain, right? How can we extend the concept and actually make it work, right? I think that's like the anchoring research question. And specifically, there's another, underneath that, there's the question of, probably some kind of partitioning is involved, right? Because you're managing space and we don't want to just have one match or one server. So that involves partitioning. So a sub question potentially is, what's the ideal partitioning to handle spatial data, And I was thinking maybe this can be Alida's main research question, actually.
Mm,
I don't know, what do you think?
Okay.
I mean, probably, Herman, you have to maybe have a discussion with her. But I
mm,
guess the question is, we do know there are different kinds of partitioning, right? Not just Voronoi, there's also, like rectangular, squares, triangular, hexagonal, right? There have been different partitioning schemes. So what's the ideal one, right? And we can also define what is ideal, right? For example, like, let's say you have just 10 nodes, 10 servers to handle the whole map. What's the partitioning that actually gets, let's say, the least amount of message, right? The most efficient in terms of messaging when, let's say, for a given set of PubSub requests, right?
Mm.
I don't know if that makes sense, but potentially this will work. This research question would involve comparison between different partitioning schemes and then see which one might be the most effective. Okay, so potentially you could use the nodes distribution, let's say static nodes, right? And they're doing PubSub and applying different partitioning and then see like which one utilize the least amount of messages. Okay,
Okay.
so I don't know if that's this is just a thought, okay? And regarding, I think what like maybe Josh will be working on, the question there could be, how can we support arbitrary size areas,
Okay.
right?
that's a good
right,
point.
like we know that there might be some limits, but and it's imaginable if you just have limited, right, sizes. But what happens if we want to make any publish subscribe areas any size? Is that possible, right? And given that you don't connect all over the place, right, you still want to have a distributed architecture where the number of connections made are limited, right? Because you know that it's not practical to create a fully connected mesh, especially when the number of nodes involved are, a lot. So how can you, with limited number of connections, actually support arbitrary size publish and subscribe areas? So that's actually where the forwarding comes in, right?
Mm.
I don't know if
See
that
what
makes
you mean.
sense.
It makes sense. It makes at least to me.
So
I
the big
see- I
question
see
is,
where you're
how
going.
can we utilize PubSub concept to spatial domain? Because it's a great concept, right? PubSub is a great paradigm, fire and forget. It's easier for the developers, definitely, right? But how can we use that to support spatial data? So that's the big question. And then the underlying question, one is like, what's the ideal partitioning, if there is one? Okay. And then how can we support PubSub areas that are arbitrary in shapes and sizes?
With the limitations of the messaging.
Exactly. Yeah, with limited number of messages and connections. So I don't know, Herman, what do you think? And
No, that sounds good. I like the what do you call it? The distinction or I like the partitioning of the problem. No pun intended.
Okay, all right. So Victory, what do you think? That do you
Yeah, no,
think that would be a good way to?
it raises very interesting questions. In terms
I-
of
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. In terms of
No, in terms of just breaking down what we can sort of discover from just exploring the project itself.
right.
And-
I mean those are research questions, right? And we are offering maybe one potential solution, but there could be others, right? And make it open-ended, and that's where the research comes in.
Okay.
Right? Okay, all right. So Victory, maybe with that, some food for thought and maybe plan ahead for tomorrow.
Okay. Just need to share just trying to try that here. Share git link. Oh, I'm sorry. Doc link and with Raghav. So Herman to continue with
Yeah. Integrating those two. And put, yeah, now schedule a meeting with you and Alida regarding the, yeah, put that on there as well.
the function. Make that blue. And just to, okay, I'm just gonna put the fast part. Okay. And delete it to share GitHub code. Okay, session.
I'd like to add that maybe Herman, I guess if Elida can agrees to work on this, one aspect is, I mean, to actually do comparisons between different
Yeah.
partitioning. And
Yeah.
one benefit of that, actually, it will actually make the architecture cleaner in the
Mm.
sense that, you know, the partitioning will be like a separate component from the
Mm.
PubSub part, right?
Yeah.
So if that can be implemented and the partitioning scheme can be switched on the fly, that actually also, I think, will make the implementation cleaner and, you know, more extensible. So I guess what I'm trying to say is pursuing that question actually will yield benefits for the implementation as well. Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
All right. Yeah, sounds, I think I should say yes.
Okay.
That's probably for, yeah.
So, okay. All
I
right.
think,
that-
Victory, we should aim for having the research proposal finished by the end of the week, hopefully.
Yes. Yes.
And
That's
then I should probably
Thursday.
aim for, yeah, Thursday would be good. I think I should try and finish that MQTT, at least the first draft of it, the first version of it by the end of the week. And okay, Josh is getting, and I'll get, I think for Alida, it will also be a deadline for end of the week, having the, well, publishing what she has developed thus far, but I will discuss that with her by the, this afternoon.
Mhm.
Okay.
But this looks good. Cool.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Great. So if nothing else, then maybe we'll see you tomorrow then. All right.
Yes.
Yes.
Thanks.
Okay,
Thanks for your
alright,
time,
Thanks,
Josh.
everyone.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Herman,
Josh.
Victory, and Josh.
Herman.
All right. Thanks. Take
Thanks.
care. Yeah. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.